Hello and welcome to my channel. I'm Jasmine, aka Dash of Jazz, and I talk all about cooking, traveling, and living well. Things are starting to open up travel-wise, and I have a few trips planned through the end of the year that I hope don't get canceled. I enjoy traveling of all kinds: business, leisure, group trips, solo trips, whatever, international, domestic. Put me on a plane or train. I even do a little road trip, as long as I'm not the one driving. But there's one thing that is constant no matter the kind of trip that I am taking, and that is that I hate, capital H-A-T-M-E, hate checking bags. As soon as I land, I want to go. I want to get straight to whatever adventures or relaxation I have planned. And when I come back home, I'm not trying to be standing around the baggage claim carousel. I want to get home, get showered, and into my own bed. So I try to travel carry-on only as much as I can. I have done this for all different kinds of trips and get asked a lot of questions about how I manage to pack all kinds of outfits and still travel in style with just a carry-on bag. So today I'm going to share with you my top tips for traveling carry-on only in style. So as you can see, I have my wardrobe behind me. I love to get dressed up, and that is also the case when I'm traveling. I don't want to sacrifice style just because I'm in another location, and traveling, having to consolidate, prioritize, and pack everything into a few cubic inches can literally cramp your style. So my first tip is around outfit planning. Make sure you pick versatile pieces that you can mix and match, and things that you will ideally wear more than once on a trip. It's easy to pack in just a carry-on for a little weekend giveaway or a beach trip where everything's skimpy, but a week-long trip or somewhere with colder weather, it's still possible. I went to Banff, Alberta. I will try to drop a picture somewhere in this frame, and had a good time out in the mountains. It was freezing cold. It was October. I only took a carry-on for that trip. I did buy my coat up there to save on space, and also to make sure that I was getting a decent down coat. I'm from Houston, and we don't have that kind of weather hardly ever, so you can't really trust that the coats you're buying around these parts will hold up to really cold, like northern weather. So that was one hack, was to buy a heavier piece once I arrived, and then I was able to just like put it over my arm and actually on getting onto the plane and not have to worry about packing it on the way back. Speaking of large pieces, this hat behind me, I'll try to drop a picture of myself in it. I wore it while I was in Puerto Rico for my birthday trip, and I packed it in a carry-on bag simply by rolling it up and stuffing the middle of the hat with clothes that I was going to pack anyway, and then putting the sides around the perimeter of the suitcase. Just because I like to travel carry-on only doesn't mean I'm not an overpacker. I want to look nice. I want to feel comfortable in my clothes. Give me the compliments, you know? So once I've finalized the itinerary for a trip, I go ahead and plan out the outfits too, so I know what I'm wearing on what day. There's some flexibility in this. If plans change, I can skip over something, or I can rock something for one dinner that I was planning for another. It's not rigid, but what it does help you do is make sure that you're not like grossly overpacking. I have a contingency of a couple of outfits and a couple of like single pieces that I can switch out if something gets dirty or whatever, but I don't want to have a 10-day trip with like 30 days worth of clothes. I want to have outfits in mind for each thing that I'm doing, and this also just cuts out wasted time in the moment. When I'm on a vacation, I want to soak up as much as I can of the trip. And I don't want to be spending time in my hotel room looking at my unpacked wardrobe and not sure what to wear. Along the lines of getting creative with your packing, I recommend packing cubes. I don't use these every single trip, but when I truly want to be able to overpack in a carry-on and stuff as many different looks and pieces as possible, I use a couple of packing cubes. These have compression. These have 2 layers of zippers so that they close and then they compress, and I have a few of them in here. There's a shoe bag, a medium-sized bag, and then a large bag. I have a couple of others that I like to use from this same set, but what's in this will get me through a multi-day trip in like a moderate to tropical climate. I found these packing cubes on Amazon and will link them for you in the video description. To get the most out of these compression bags, you will want to roll your items instead of folding them. This is going to make sure that they take up as little space as possible, and you can squeeze many more items into a compression bag and honestly just a bag period, even if you don't want to use these, when they are rolled like this as opposed to when they're folded. I also recommend packing your bulkiest items that you plan to take with you and not wear in the bags first. These are the pieces that will benefit the most from being in compression bags. As you're packing, make sure that you stick to just a few pairs of shoes that again you can wear over and over. Wear your most bulky shoes on the plane. So those are your sneakers. If you're going hiking, those are your hiking boots. If it's colder weather, boots, period. I always fly in my sneakers and then pack sandals, little strappy heels and all that in my luggage. Where you will have a lot of room to play with is your jewelry and accessories, things like sunglasses, scarves, necklaces, rings, earrings. Don't take up a ton of space in your carry-on, so you can get more creative with those and use those to style up the looks that you plan without having to add too much more bulk to your baggage. Keep in mind that carry-on size guidelines vary from airline to airline. I like to err on the side of caution. I have a few different carry-on bags, but this is the one I use most often. It's from It Luggage, it's expandable, and I have never had a question about it size-wise, no matter which airline I've flown. Now that bag is a little small for some airlines, like I could get away with a slightly bigger bag, but I've over time learned how to pack everything I need in this and a personal item, so I don't even have to worry about it. Speaking of personal items, I like to use a backpack for mine, especially if I have some outdoor physical activities on the itineraries. I can use this as a hiking backpack with no problem. If you are flying a super restrictive airline like a Spirit or a Frontier or Allegiant and want to try to get away with just a personal item, this bag will fit. I have taken it to Vegas for like a little weekend trip. Of course, it's Vegas, so clothes were a little more skimpy, but everything that I needed for about 3 days with the girls fit into this backpack, and it fit under the seat. Travel size toiletries. This is where so many people get caught up, and admittedly where I used to get caught up, because you want to have your full Clinique take the day off balm, right, or your body lotion. Especially as a melanated person, I take a couple, maybe even 3 of this size bottles of lotion because I refuse to be caught ashy. But you really don't need full sizes. What's in here, or here is truly enough to get you through even a week-long trip. And if you're going to be spending that long somewhere, you might just take a pharmacy run and get something else to re-up as the trip goes on. But there's really no need to take full-size products with you on most trips. This is something I've learned the long and hard way. Things that you'll need more of, like lotion or sunscreen, you can buy when you land. I typically buy sunscreen once I get to a place anyway, especially if I want to go snorkeling or anything, because you want to get sunscreen that's adherent to local guidelines around reef safety and protecting the environment. Another little space saver is this card case that I got from Amazon. It holds just the essentials. I can put cash and even a single key in the middle. I keep my ID, my debit card, and my travel credit card, my medical insurance card, my airport parking membership card, and my priority pass card in here, and then cash in the middle. Save space. There's no need to take your whole wallet or even a wristlet, and it slides in anywhere. I actually use this on an everyday basis, but I got into the habit of using it with travel. I've never had my luggage lost, but I've had to help family members deal with tracking down lost luggage. It's just not a good feeling. And then you also have the slight concern of like things getting damaged or God forbid stolen from the bags that you check. So I just find that using a carry-on alleviates all of that stress most of the time. You will have situations where you're like maybe boarding later or for whatever reason have to gate check your bag. So I do pack a certain way just in case that happens. I keep more valuable, more critical things in my personal item. Things that I would be sick if they were lost or stolen or damaged, and things that I can, still maneuver around for a day or so with until my bag is found if it does wind up getting lost. So anything that's confidential or of high monetary value, obviously my money and my forms of identification, I keep in my personal item. I also keep jewelry, power bank and AirPods, chargers for my laptop and phone, the laptop and phone itself, and then one change of clothes. If I can get my toiletries into my personal item, I will definitely try to do that as well. Any medicine, vitamins, again, things that you would need to manage for a day or so if your rolling or larger luggage gets misplaced. If you're trying to travel with just a carry-on bag for budgetary reasons, let me remind you that the later you board, the more likely it will be that overhead room is slim. So keep that in mind with the size bag that you choose and what you choose to pay for when you're booking. If you can pay a little bit to choose a seat that's closer, that's going to board soon, do that versus running the risk of having to gate check your bag, which although free, increases the chances of mishaps with your luggage, right? Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video and learned a little something. If you did, give it a thumbs up to let me know. And if you would like to see more videos like this one, drop a note in the comments. If you have travel tips, sharing is caring. I want this to be a two-way relationship. Drop those tips in the comments too. And lastly, make sure you hit that subscribe button because I put out fresh content like this every single week. Thank you for watching.